Hello, pre-calculus class. Let's look at this problem from section 1.2. So we've got this crazy notation, and it looks really weird, but what I want you to understand is this over here is telling you what to put in where all these letters and things are. Let me just show you how this works, okay? So these in the parentheses, these are x values. These are where we're going to look on this line, okay? So for this is read f of -4. I'm going to find -4, and then I'm going to find f, and where those things crisscross, that is f of -4. So I'm going to replace this f of -4 underneath that square root sign with 4. Okay, now there's a minus sign after that, and then there's this f of -3. That's what I'm looking for next. So I find -3, that's the input, and then f of -3 is this number from the table, -5. So I'm going to put a -5 there. That's minus a -5, so that's the same thing as plus. Minus and minus is plus. So this is just underneath the square root sign. That's just 4 plus 5, which I can write as 9. And then the square root of 9 is just 3. Okay. Now I'll just leave it like that for now because I want you to see all the parts. All right. So there's f of -4 minus there's f of -3. Alright, and then there's a minus, and then this bracket inside of that is g of -1. Well, now we go to -1. Instead of this column, f column, we go to the g column. And so that's -9. So I'm going to put a -9 in there. Alright, and then don't worry about what all this is saying. This is just showing you how to substitute it in. We'll get a number out of here in just a second. Then after that was plus f of -5. So now we're looking for f of -5. There's -5. F column, that's 9. Alright, divide by g of -1. -1 column over to g, though, that's -9. Be careful here. You'll need to put in a parentheses, -9. Okay? And then g of -4, there's -4. G is 6 right there. So that will be a 6. Okay, now, it's just, we know what all the values are for these f ofs and g ofs. They're just outputs. They're just numbers. We've replaced the numbers, and now this is just like an order of operations problem. So you just do the order of operations. So underneath the radicals, we do those. So we've already seen this one. 4 minus -5 is 9. All right. And then just as we go through here, order of operations says exponents come before division, multiplication. So we do the exponents next. So -9 squared, this is 81. Alright, now looking left to right, this is a radical. Radicals are in the exponent step. Division, multiplication. So we're going to do the radical next. Alright, the square root of 9 is 3. Alright, and now we've got subtraction, addition, division, multiplication. We divide and multiply left to right. So I'm going to divide. Alright, 9 divided by -9 is -1. Alright, and then finally multiply. And then the only thing left will be subtraction and division. -1 multiplied by 6 is -6. Alright, and then finally subtraction, addition. Only things left, we add and subtract left to right, just like the last step we multiplied and divide left to right. So we subtract 3 minus 81 is -78. And then finally -78 plus -6. So you've been seeing it all along since we got rid of that division symbol, which Desmos doesn't like. We ended up with -84. And there's our answer. Now you don't have to use Desmos for this. I just used it because it's plugging in and then doing order of operations. But the thing that I want you guys to see is that's the big thing that I want you to see here. What each of these things mean. F of -4, that's 4. How do I know it is? Because it's in the table. There's -4, the input in the parentheses. F of that input is this. That's what f of -4 is. This whole entire problem is all about just understanding function notation at first, and then order of operations after that, to where you get this thing down to just a single number.